Welcome to How to Have Your Best Life in Marriage. It's not where you start, but where you finish. I'm Connie Durham, and I'm going to share with you today 7 frameworks from Brendon Burchard in his How to Start and Have Your Best Life, because these 7 frameworks pertain to you in marriage. So many people give up on marriage before they have realized the things that are really causing them trouble. And they forget how to approach life in a way that gives them hope and belief and confidence. All right, are you ready for those today? We're going to start out with number 1. Make sure that you have a pen and a pencil, so you might need to pause this. Grab a pen and pencil and paper so you can jot these down. And you can really look at them when we're finished and think, which of these describe me? Which of these describe my spouse? And how can we overcome these things? The first one is, have you been beaten down or have you been built up? Some people are beaten down in life from the beginning, and some live in families and have circumstances that build them up. But that doesn't have to be your story. Things happen like bullying, substance abuse, any kind of abuse, somebody talking down to you, being taught negativity, maybe an unplanned pregnancy, whether it was you or you have kids out of wedlock, explosive households where there's lots of anger and emotions going on. Maybe you didn't have much whenever you started out in life, but that's not what it takes for happiness. We have to get past those woe is me. Yeah, we get stuck there, don't we? Woe is me. And you have to decide to step it up and step out of that situation, because you don't have to own it. Are you owning any of those things, and are they holding you back from having your best life, your best marriage? All right, number 2, you have to shift your perception, process it, and then you have to proceed. Are you a reactive person or are you an intentional person? Ask yourself that as you're writing it down. Are you a reactive person or are you an intentional person? What is that exactly? A reactive person is, you wake up in the morning and you're like, how do I feel today? Yesterday was terrible. Now I'm on the defense. It's like, I'm ready to defend my day. I'm ready for bad stuff to happen. It's about attitude, your mood, expectancy. And we become reactive to whatever goes on around us. Did somebody wake you up and you're on the wrong side of the bed? Was there a lot of loud noise and craziness when you woke up? Did you not feel good when you woke up? Or are you an intentional person? An intentional person decides what kind of day they're going to have. They plan, they think about, they picture what kind of day they want. Decide what today will be like. Intentionally plan. And that might be laying out, writing down what you're going to do for the day. It might be listening to some music whenever you get up. It might be reading something. But I like to say, trash in, trash out. So if you're listening and hanging around people that are downers, then you're going to be a downer, right? So do you want to become an intentional person? The third thing is, do you avoid problems and challenges or do you approach them? Do you avoid challenges and problems in your marriage, in life, with your kids, with family, with friends, at work? Or do you approach them? If you are avoiding, then you are choosing a long-term pain, because whatever the problem is, it's going to just keep going on and on and on. You might consider yourself a victim, and you might think you're just defenseless and you can't help yourself because you're avoiding these problems and you're not figuring out how to take care of them. Guess what? You'll never win if you stay there. But if you decide that you want to approach problems, like, what are the solutions? How can I get past this? In marriage, approach is learning how to communicate, learning about yourself, understanding yourself. Because first you have to understand yourself before you can understand your spouse. You have to learn to communicate, understand yourself, give yourself a break, cut yourself some slack, focus on what is good. And then you have to also think about your spouse and how could you get along better with them. You want to play to win. People who approach life play to win. They're solutions minded. Things we avoid. What are some things we avoid? You keep gaining weight. So you just keep overeating and you just avoid figuring out how to fix it. Troubled relationships. We avoid maybe certain circumstances in that relationship. Unhappy jobs. Maybe we're in an unhappy job and we just go to work every day with a bad attitude. That never helps. And we just keep on keeping on and we just keep getting the same things we've been getting, right? Maybe you have financial troubles and you've avoided figuring out how to get that into a better place. Maybe you've avoided getting that into a better place. Learn to approach life, find solutions, figure it out. Don't be a victim. The fourth thing is, are you a person who fears life or has faith in life? Fears life or has faith in life. What I have found that is often we use negative words with ourselves. If we're doing that, we're probably using negative words with others. Or do we have faith? I believe it's gonna be okay. Well, number one, faith is faith in God. Faith in the good in people. Faith in having hope for something better. Faith in yourself, that you are finding solutions, moving forward, learning to communicate, figuring it out. Fear is poor management of the mind. And that's what Brendan said when I was listening to that this morning. Fear is poor management of the mind. And you could be like, what? Poor management of the mind. You might think you're strong-minded. You might be great at work. You might be known in the community for your awesomeness, but how are you at home? How are you at home? Poor management of the mind is fear. How do you enter each situation? With a positive attitude? What can I do to help? I like to use this acronym of fear, FEAR. False evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. And if you're like me, because I'm not perfect, there's situations that have taken me in because fear engrossed me and just took over. My mind went crazy and fear just took me over. When you get that sickness in your stomach and you feel hopeless. But often that is false evidence appearing real. Or do you have faith? Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes there's a big mess before it gets beautiful. Think about a flower. Coming up, it's just a little bud, it's green, it's not very pretty, and it's coming up, its little head is hanging, and then it just grows up, and it's looking up to the sun, and little by little, that flower opens up into something beautiful, something colorful. Do you fear or do you have faith? The fifth thing is, see if I can say this, mimicry. Okay, there it was. Mimicry or mastery. Well, Brendan says mimicry is copying others. Copying others. And we live in a world where we're looking at everybody else for what we think we're supposed to do. We think we're supposed to be good at doing videos. We think we're supposed to be good at cooking and keeping our home. We think we're supposed to be the best parent, the best wife, the best decorator, the best home manager, because that's what we all do, right? Is manage our homes and manage our work and manage our kids, manage our husband. All right, so mimicry is when we're looking at other people and we're thinking, that is what I'm supposed to be. Well, did you know that in Communication Secrets, I teach people about the fact of we all have different talents. We all have different strengths. We're not all good at the same thing. And when we compare ourselves to others, we just tear ourselves down. We leave our talents behind looking at something that we're not good at. And that's what we focus on. Copying others is exhausting. Pleasing everyone else, trying to be just like them, is exhausting. Sometimes we repeat family tragedies because we don't even mean to mimic our family. I mean, if you had a good family, that's okay, right? But if you had hardships in your family, are you mimicking what you lived as you grew up? That's a big question, because that's the kind of baggage many people take into their marriage. They want to leave it behind, but they find that it's affected them in gigantic ways, and they take it with them into their next marriage. There's a lot of marriages these days. There's a 50% divorce rate. Why? Because people don't understand each other. And often, whenever there's challenges in marriage, it's not about you. If you're the one feeling done to, it's a problem that the other person has. Who do we put off our biggest, when we're frustrated and we're emotional, who gets it? Our spouse, right? It's like that for everybody. So stop mimicking others and figure it out, find solutions, and start to be yourself. Let's see if I can say it again, mimicry or mastery. Mastery is learning the communication styles, learning what you're best at, learning what your spouse is best at, learning what you're doing, maybe your blind spot that is irritating the stew out of your spouse, or vice versa. They're doing something that's irritating you. And then learning to be yourself, understanding yourself first so that you can then understand others. You have to understand yourself first, and then you can understand your spouse. And then you can embrace your gifts. Because guess what? Everybody has their awesomeness. But if you've been beat down at some point in life, or you've been taught negativity, then you might not even know how to embrace your best self. That's what I help with. Number 6 is take or give. Now, the first thing we think of is, are you a taker? You're like, gimme, 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 got your hand open, what can you do for me? Or are you a giver? You're always doing for other people. But Brandon was talking about, do you take, which is draining yourself and draining others? Taking is draining yourself and draining others. Or do you give? Do you give encouragement? Do you help others feel empowered? Guess what? When you're empowered, you can empower others. And a lot of times when we're married, we have kids, right? We pass on whatever we are. We pass on whatever we are. So if we are confident, we pass on confidence. If we are frustrated and angry all the time, we pass on frustration and anger. If we have distrust, we may pass on distrust. And some of that even goes back to values and motivators in life. Are we honest? Do we do for others? Do we keep our word? Do we follow through? Are we helpful? Do you take or do you give? And the 7th one, number 7, is force or flow. Do you force life by pushing your way through, finding a way around people, maybe cheating, lying, moving people out of the way? Or do you flow in life? Or do you force people? Try to force happiness? Try to force your marriage to be what you think it should be? Or have you learned to flow with who you are? Have you learned to flow with who your spouse is? Let go of the small stuff. Like I like to say, don't sweat the small stuff. Often arguments are about tiny, small, little things. Successful people in life and marriage are just like you. Sometimes if we've not been able to see a successful marriage or be a part of a successful family, we don't think it's possible. And I think I forgot to say at the beginning, besides my name being Connie, I've been married over 44 years. I'll say happily, and I have 3 grown kids and a whole bunch of grandkids. But guess what? Everybody doesn't always get that opportunity. And I know as my kids started to get married, I realized that all families are not alike. They don't have the same beliefs, the same values, the same habits. They don't treat each other the same. And it really comes back to how we treat each other, right? I like to be treated well. How about you? So let's look at this. Number 1, have you been beaten down? And if you have, decide to get back up. Number 2, become intentional in how you think and speak to your spouse, how you think and how you speak to your spouse, and how you speak to yourself. Number 3, approach life. Learn how to get along. Learn communication skills. Learn how what to nix and what to grow. What do you want to let go of and what do you want to grow in your life? Focus on that. Number 4, let go of fear and enter every situation with faith. How can you do that? You can learn how to do that. Embody hope and belief in something better than yourself. Better than what you have now. 5, master yourself. Stop copying others. Stop mimicking others. Be yourself. Master your strengths. Master your strengths. Don't try to master what other people have as a strength. Master your strengths. Number 6, learn to give and be your authentic self. Learn to be a giver. What is your strength in the real you? Do you know who the real you is? Learn to give and be your authentic self. There's something awesome about you. There's something awesome about you, and you might not be claiming it. And then number 7, enjoy your new flow. As you embrace who you are and you build yourself up. Embrace who you are. And when you do that, it's going to build you up because you're going to understand yourself better. You're going to be at peace with yourself. You're going to look towards faith instead of fear. You're going to uncover your talents, your strengths. You're going to uncover your personal communication style. What's good? What's challenging? You're going to figure that out. You're going to discover the secrets to more love. You're going to discover the secrets to support between you and your spouse. You're going to discover the secrets to appreciation. Because you might be getting that, or you might not. You might be giving appreciation to your spouse, or you might not. You're going to uncover the secrets to happiness in your marriage. Can you see that? Would you like to have that? Would you like to know how to do that? If this sounds good to you, if it sounds like what you need, I want you to consider applying for Fresh Insights Fresh Insights for Marriage. It's a strategy session where we just look for 40 minutes. I gave you 40 minutes free. And you look at some of the challenges, and I let you know if I could help you in any way. You may come away with a few answers or understand things better, but I want to pour into people and help people have happier marriages. Because I believe that happy couples equal happier kids. And family is the foundation of a happy, healthy society. My name is Connie Durham, and if you believe this is for you, at least do yourself a favor and apply for a Fresh Insights for Marriage. This is a strategy session. It's free. It's with me. 40 minutes. Connie Durham. Thanks for listening.